Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I am Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively, we are the Office Blokes.
Yeah, three of us.
Yeah, all three of us in a room together. You can tell who we are by the cups.
Oh yeah, it's handy.
Yeah, just in case.
Oh, mine says Darren.
Yeah, we are going live very soon for the Super Bowl watch along party on YouTube, and I think it'll be Twitch as well.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You're putting it up. We're putting it up. So we're going live on Twitch and on YouTube at the same time.
I think we can do them simultaneously.
Oh yeah, simultaneously.
Simon simultaneously. So keep your eye out for that. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good laugh, few beers, bit of sports, and we hope to see you all there. So, yeah,
If you do, this is. I've got a question about this. Just let me hang fire on there, right? Because I'm not sort of like well up on Twitch and live streaming on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Dan is. Dan's the king of Twitch.
Dan is coming, isn't he?
I've not booked him. Have you?
No.
Oh, well, no, I've not booked him neither.
Give him a shout.
You give him a shout.
You give him a shout.
He looks like you. If you go on Twitch and you go on YouTube, do they stream exactly at the same time, or is one like 2 seconds ahead of the other?
I presume so, because we stream to OBS, and OBS send it to YouTube and
I get
Twitch
that.
and things
I understand
like
that. But what I'm saying is, does one get the feed quicker than the other?
I've got no idea.
Because we don't want to be on Twitch and be a few seconds ahead of what we are on YouTube.
If one does, we'll just stream on YouTube.
Right.
We'll prioritise that.
Right.
But I have no answers to that question. If you've got an answer to that question, or if you're Dan, comment below and let us know. Anyway, US billions-dollar flying aircraft carrier is finally ready for action.
Flying aircraft carrier? What does this weigh?
I feel like I may have been sucked in by a bit of clickbait here.
Yeah.
I saw the thumbnail and it looked absolutely insane, and I just had to watch it.
What I don't understand on this is, what's the point of a flying aircraft carrier? Because the aircraft that's on the carrier can fly.
But why have a truck with a load of cars on the back of it then?
Because they're being delivered. Is that what that is? The
I
flying
don't know.
aircraft carrier. It's when you just fly to where you go, and you can.
I've got
Not
no
all cars
idea.
get delivered on the back of a truck. It might be broke down.
I've got no idea.
Let's see.
Yeah, but I feel like
It looks very futuristic, that first thing there. It looks
Yeah.
like,
It
does a bit.
Star Wars. That
possibly
Like a
been
bit of an
suckered.
Avengers type of a...
Yeah, may have been suckered in by something very speculative.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
Yeah.
So, US billion-dollar flying aircraft carrier is finally ready for action.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's the one from the
The
Avengers.
U.S. Navy is a
Oh, right.
Obviously, I didn't believe that was a real thing
Right,
on the
okay.
thumbnail.
Right.
But I thought, is it in development? Is it like that's what
Yeah.
got me in? I don't think that's somewhere in the States ready to take
No.
off. I just want to clarify.
about to become the U.S. Air Force. Aircraft carriers are about to become aircraft. Like the aircraft that take off from them, these aircraft carriers would take off to the skies as opposed to the seas. But for the same reason, to project the might of the U.S. Navy in the brightest colors. Uncommon as the concept of a flying aircraft carrier is, it isn't a new project and has actually been around since the time of the World Wars. And now, thanks to the advent of technology, they have received renewed attention, and the U.S. is once again aiming for revolutionary flying carriers. Flying carriers gaining attention at this time could be owed in large part to the complete dominance of American sea-based aircraft carriers today. In fact, 25% of the world's aircraft carriers belong to the U.S., and their total deck space is more than double that of all other nations combined. In addition, the members of the lead USS Ford class of these aircraft carriers are far more lethal than every other aircraft carrier in history, and the following features prove that. Number 3. Nuclear power. 2 Bechtel A1B nuclear reactors, the most cutting-edge engines created for use on water, power the USS Gerald Ford. As a result, the carrier would only need to be refueled once over its entire 50-year operational life, as these engines make use of the everlasting nature of nuclear energy. This means
That is mad.
Wow,
that
It is.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm wondering.
Imagine that. Let's use that in cars.
Nuclear cars.
Nuclear cars, could you imagine?
Everyone's got their own little reactors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering when it's going to get some wings on it though and take off.
It was propellers, wasn't it?
It looked like it,
Wasn't
yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
USS Ford can run for 25 years at a time without refueling. And with a
grandma's
peak
car.
speed of around 30 knots, the supercarrier can access every country on the planet, just in time to pay friendly visits to allies and wreak havoc on enemies. Number 2. New sensors and processing systems. USS Ford features the latest sensors, processors, and weapons needed on an aircraft carrier to maintain that balance of intelligence and lethality. Unlike virtually every other aircraft carrier in the world, the USS Ford features a single system for both horizon and volume search in the form of the AN-SPY-3 multifunction radar for X and S-band active electronically scanned array. It remains the most advanced radar system from the US, with enough versatility to handle surveillance, air traffic control, missile communications, and spot targets from miles away. Number 1. American fighter jets and UAVs. Up to 75 fighter jets and unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs, can call the USS Ford home at a time, including the Navy's favorite child, the 5th generation F-35C Lightning II Joint Strike Fighter, whose development program remains the most expensive weapons development program of the Pentagon to date, with a reported cost of $400 billion. The result of such an expensive program is a fighter that really can do it all: close air support, vertical takeoff and landing, and everything in between, cementing it as the modern go-to fighter for the Navy and every other department of the military. That is, until the 6th generation F/A-XX fighter takes center stage, of course. And for when that happens, the USS Ford is already equipped with the technologies required to host, launch, and recover it. All of these and many more combine to make the US undefeatable on the seas. And so an airborne version of them could make the US undefeatable in the skies, which remains an ultimate goal. And many programs have been created to achieve this goal.
They'd be so vulnerable, wouldn't they, if it actually was a thing?
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But
I'm not sure.
With gigantic propellers, if something gets dropped just into them and then the whole thing's unstable and just goes. With like,
I think it might take a bit more than just dropping something into a propeller.
Bird hits the propeller.
I don't mean like that, but I mean literally like a plane or something, and then the whole thing is gone and it's like thousands of people.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same with any aircraft, isn't it?
Yeah, but you don't have like thousands of people on it and billions of dollars worth of jets, helicopters, everything else.
Even if one person dies, it's too many, isn't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah,
But it's kind of like I don't know. I think for me it seems a little bit far out there.
it does for me.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, what would it actually be used for? You know, I know you say for transporting jets or something
Quicker.
to another part quicker, but over in bulk it'd have to be, wouldn't it? Otherwise it'd be because at the moment they can refuel, can't they, when they're flying vast distances anyway. And you think the amount of aircraft carriers on the sea that they've got, they can get planes to where they want to go anyway. They've probably got them in all corners of the world already.
But they're not as fast as an aircraft would be. So if you need something, if you need like 30 aircraft in tomorrow in North Korea, I know they've got strategic bases around, but if this takes off and goes, and all of a sudden it's like that's flying through there, and all of a sudden it's like bang, and they're firing out all kinds of shit that comes off it, like all the different fighter aircraft. It sounds great to have. But is it really? Is it?
It'd have to be a hell of a sort of piece of kit, wouldn't it? So. I mean, you can imagine the size and the weight of it, the engines and the power it'd have to just fly itself, but then with like say maybe 30 aircraft on it as well.
I suppose.
But missiles firing at it as well, like you're saying. If you're going into warfare, the missiles are going to be coming thick and fast.
I'm sure they'll be heavily sort of like.
I don't think they'd be agile as like a fighter jet to dodge out and things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Although real flying carrier concepts may not be as dramatic as the fictional helicarrier of Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D., they're as close as any's gotten in the last 100 years. And going that far back in time means we say hi to the airships. As far back as 1917, experiments were made with aircraft slung under airships, which we'll call microfighters. These hanging aircraft were there primarily to defend the airships. But as those airships went out of style, different flying carrier programs came to be, each unique in its own right. Boeing 747 Airborne Aircraft Carrier. The 1970s came with the U.S. Air Force experimenting with the idea of converting one of its large aircraft into a flying aircraft carrier full of parasite fighters that could be deployed and even recovered in midair. Among the contenders for this role were the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy and the Boeing 747, Boeing would take the lead when they correctly pointed out in their proposal that the 747 offered superior range and endurance when flying with a full payload of an impressive 883,000 pounds. The 747 would therefore be able to carry up to 10 microfighters at a time. Boeing would specially design and build the microfighters to be small enough to be housed within the 747, along with an apparatus that would allow the large plane to carry the fighters a long distance, drop them where they were needed to fight, recover them once again, and refuel them if need be. But some uncertainties would surface, from the fuel range to how well the Boeing microfighters would fare against the advanced threats they were supposed to square off with. Ultimately, the proposal never made it off the page of Boeing's report, but the report did establish that despite the challenges, the concept, although likely costly, was actually technically feasible.
It kind of just have to be pretending to be a civilian vehicle, wouldn't it? And then fly somewhere it's not supposed to be, and then all these little jets just kind of fly off the bottom of it, and then you get out of there.
I'm not sure where you can fly now where you're not supposed to be without being noticed.
Well, if it was registered as a passenger jet,
you couldn't get found out.
You couldn't.
You think?
Yeah, before it even took off.
They'd never do that. Register a military aircraft as a passenger jet, because every passenger jet would be a target then for the opposition.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't do it.
And plus, it's probably not allowed in warfare.
No,
Right.
you can't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Cheating.
Nuclear-powered Lockheed CL-1201. Lockheed, in staying true to their nature of pushing the limits, decided to go at a flying aircraft carrier the size of a traditional aircraft carrier. This aircraft or aircraft carrier would weigh a literal groundbreaking 5,265 tons and stand as tall as a 14-story building. To get such a massive structure to fly, the design included a 1,120-foot wingspan with a 560-foot-long fuselage. That's the length of 2.5 Boeing 747s end to end. The Lockheed CL-1201 could, however, surprisingly be powered by only 4 huge turbofan engines, powered by regular jet fuel to an altitude under 16,000 feet. At this point, the nuclear energy from an onboard reactor takes over and powers the jet for 41 days straight without refueling or having to land for a second. In fact, the aircraft could maintain a Mach 0.8 cruising speed for this period and fly at around 30,000 feet up. This massive aircraft would have a crew of 845, be able to deploy 22 multi-role fighters, maintain a hangar bay for repairs, but would also likely cost billions of dollars and far too many labor hours to produce and maintain, which must have contributed to why the aircraft never made it past the proposal stage. But
I'd like to see that though.
I'd like to see what the first class area is like.
I'll bet. Yeah, I think you'd have to have something like that, a plane type of aircraft carrier. You wouldn't be able to have it like
not like a ship
on the film, like a ship type of thing, would you? With like a run. Well, you wouldn't need a runway, I guess, would you, if you're in the air already?
But I could just keep flying.
Yeah,
just an arm that
25 years, didn't it say?
And just takes it in.
Yeah.
That's just mind-boggling. I mean, imagine the nerds working on that though. The absolute genius minds that would have to work on something like that to make it.
Imagine going around the table collecting the papers. When you're designers all an aircraft that can carry other aircraft.
Yeah,
I've got mine. I just need a bit more paper, mate. Have you got an AO size?
But its concept to this day stands as a historical anomaly that continues to inspire renewed attention from the world. The B-36 Peacemaker. The B-36 Peacemaker strategic bomber was another aircraft intended to be upgraded to carry microfighters to launch. Its microfighters would be the McDonnell F-85 Goblin, and it would house up to 4 of them. The B-36 was the ideal pick this time in the 1950s, thanks to its massive size and weight. Its 230-foot wings would dwarf even those of the B-52 Stratofortress and cement the B-36 as one of the largest aircraft to ever take to the skies. Its weight comes in at an astonishing 410,000 pounds when fully loaded with fuel and up to 86,000 pounds of weapons. Despite all of these bragging rights, the B-36 would never fly an operational mission, as although it was desired to give the US the capability of bombing Berlin efficiently, World War II would since have ended by the time it was ready. However, its massive size and range prompted the Air Force to consider its use as a flying aircraft carrier, But that too would not come into fruition as the advent of mid-air refueling dramatically increased the operational range of all varieties of aircraft and ultimately undermined the importance of the range of the B-36 Peacemaker. Lockheed C-130 Hercules. Away from the attempts of the 1900s, the U.S. has relatively recently been looking into a new flying carrier program. Since 2015, the United States Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, has been investigating the prospect of using a modified Lockheed C-130 Hercules cargo aircraft to deploy and support Dynetics X-61 Gremlins unmanned aerial vehicles as microfighters. And on completing their missions, these microfighters are recovered using a proprietary air recovery method involving a drogue-like receptacle and docking technique. Testing is currently being conducted at Dugway Proving Grounds with International Air Response providing the contracted C-130A. In January of 2022, one of these tests saw DARPA successfully launch an X-61 Gremlin UAV from the bay of the C-130. Should the test get the checkmark and see the aircraft carrier officially launched, it would enable the U.S. to deploy drones from motherships while still outside of enemy air defenses, allowing the drones to go on and engage targets before returning to the airspace around the mothership to be recaptured and carried home for service or repairs. However, the tests aren't all rosy, as despite a test showing that the drone could in fact be deployed by the C-130, the drone itself would be ultimately destroyed after an hour and a half of flight that ended in a parachute failure. But that's likely an easy fix that would be prevented in subsequent tests. With that setback out of the way, the program would continue as planned, facilitate the rise of other similar programs, and ultimately gift the U.S. the power of a supercarrier in the sky to complement an already powerful fleet of aircraft carriers. And according to experts, this fleet of aircraft carriers and flying carriers would get even more powerful if you subscribe to this channel.
Smooth.
That's more realistic, last one.
I think that actually probably is the future, isn't it? Just loads of unmanned drones that can be deployed from a plane.
Well, we've said that before, haven't we, with warfare? I don't think fighter jets will have pilots in them.
Yeah, it's going the opposite way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it'll be more drones.
Yeah, they're being used more and more all the time, aren't they? You know, they really are. So I think it's definitely the way forward, I would think.
Someone was telling me yesterday about the, I want to say it's some sort of autonomous sort of AI that can spot enemies from miles away, you know, and it can identify if someone's a target or if someone's a friendly. And I think it was being tested by the States, and it's whether or not, you know, it's like an American soldier carrying a rifle or some sort of insurgent, and it's clever enough to figure out who's who.
Yeah.
And they got loads of people to try and trick it, and people were literally like, someone got under a box and just kept moving towards it, and someone like cut up a bush and then held it in front of him and moved towards it, and it just identified him as a bush and a box.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So it never identified a threat of any kind.
That's standard nowadays, though.
No, but it's literally...
Some guy said, no, I'm not human, I'm a box.
Well, true, yeah, just identifying as a box.
You don't usually get attacked by a box, do you?
Yeah, but the point is, it's all this crazy...
From all four sides, that, mate.
But all the crazy, like, billions spent on technology and stuff and AI, and it's all going to be the future.
Yeah.
And a lot of it can still be tricked by someone.
Yeah.
Because a human would go,
happens.
why is that box moving towards me?
Exactly, yeah. That bush wasn't there before.
Yeah.
It's moved.
Yeah. But anyway, you never know, do you?
Yeah.
It's all going a little bit too fast for me.
Yeah.
Technology.
I think if anything...
It's not because I'm getting older, it's just as soon as I'm catching up with one, I'm reading about one, something else has come up, and I watch a lot of the technology shows, and I see them and I'm thinking, what is that?
Yeah.
Don't mess with that, mate.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like ChatGPT, isn't it? That's the thing that people use to like create all types of things now, isn't it? You know,
I was showing it you one a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and it's
that's moved on rapidly in just in a month.
Allegedly, the sort of references it uses is like 2 years old. So certain things you ask it to do that are very current, it can't. Allegedly, from what I've read. But still,
it's moving so fast.
Well, the fact that you could, something as simple as, say, write me a children's novel based off a character called this, who's got a pet dog and then does this, and then animate it as well, and then a piece of software just goes, there you go, there's your novel.
Yeah.
That's just
crazy.
Blows my mind.
I know, yeah.
Fits into the lazy world we live in now.
And it just, that's the thing.
No grafters anymore. All going. dying breed.
Yeah.
3 videos a day every day for 2 years. That's grafting.
Grafting, that is, yeah, definitely.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know in the comments what you think is the future. Garlic bread, that's the future.
Without
a doubt.
Still.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.